Guys, it's going to be one of those days to keep yourself distracted, keep away from social media, put the phone down. I myself started decorating my daughter's bedroom today. I started painting, and I have to be honest, watching that paint dry was better than what I saw yesterday. I just feel like I should take my hat off, hold it over my heart, and just, I don't know, mourn. But here we are. Guys, this is the boring AFC. My name is Rob, and let's talk about yesterday's game against Wolves. Before I do, I'm trying to get myself to 50 subscribers so that I can stream live. It would be lovely to be able to stream live and talk to you guys, especially the way I'm feeling right now. But I can't do that until I get to 50. So please please subscribe and help me help the channel to grow. On to the game. When I saw the lineup, I was really happy because I was seeing Saka in the 10. I was also very disappointed by the lineup. And I think it's important that I start with that. I really wanted to see Rice in the 6 or Norgard. I want to see Zubimendi rested, but I really wanted to see Rice or Norgard in the 6 with Eze at the 8 playing that deep line playmaker role that he did against Wigan at the weekend with Saka in the 10. I wanted to see Madueke on the right and Trossard on the left with Gyökeres up front. That would have been ideal for me. Even better if Ben White starts at right back. And the only thing that really happened there was that we got Saka at 10. And after 5 minutes, we scored the goal. Saka did his celebration and signed the contract. And you thought, you know what? This is going to be a plain sailing fixture. Arsenal are going to go 7 points clear. And that just was not to be. And it is so frustrating that it was not to be. Because if you look after the first 15, 20 minutes, Arsenal put the handbrake on and just nothing happened. And even the goal that we scored in the second half, in fairness, was against the run of play. Wolves did a number on us and we didn't want it enough. Either the Arsenal players didn't want it enough or they bottled it a little bit. And I hate saying bottled and I hate saying choked, but they were not good enough in that fixture. The frustrating thing is that a lot of Arsenal fans have been talking about this sort of more direct approach to the goal instead of this sideways pass, and let's just be direct, right? And the 2 goals came from those types of passes. They came from forward passes into the attacker. If you look at Gabriel's pass to Hincapié, that was a forward pass into the box, right? It was straight in. And then if you look at Declan Rice's cross to Saka, it was not messing around. It was a ball in the box. And what's so frustrating is that the rest of the game was built around this tippy-tappy football. The reality is we needed more forward splitting passes. Who gives you forward splitting passes? It's going to be Eze and it's going to be Norgard. And we saw that in the game against Wigan. And we should have done that against the lowest of low blocks last night. And we didn't. And it's frustrating because we talk about having alternative approaches. There was an alternative approach for us right there. And that alternative approach was to put Rice at the base and then have Eze at the deep line playmaker who can push and Saka leading the 10. And it just wasn't to be. It just wasn't to be. And not enough of the team was in good form. I don't know why Martinelli was allowed on the pitch for as long as he was. I don't know why Timber was allowed on the pitch for as long as he was. And the reality is that we did not get the job done and it was not good enough. I'm going to come to that in a minute. First of all, I want to talk about Saka at the 10. Does Saka at 10 work? Yes. Saka can play as a 10. I like the way that he interchanges with Madueke. He is good enough to do that role. But we need to ask questions of that role. All right. What can Saka do? All right. Saka can come deep. He can press. He can switch in between the lines. He can shoot. He can pass. He can header. He can do all the things that an outstanding 10 can and should be able to do. All right. In the same way that Odegaard is a good 10. In the same way that Eze does not become a bad attacking midfielder. So I suppose the question that we need to ask ourselves is, does Arsenal have a system problem with the 10 that isolates the 10 and deems them useless? Because that's the kind of thing that we are seeing at the moment. The 10 is not being utilised well enough. The last time we saw the 10 play well, I think, actually, was Havertz, if I'm being completely honest. I don't think Saka was bad, but Havertz has been the best 10 we've seen since January in the team. And that's worrying, because that tells me that 1 out of 4 can only play the 10, and that's clearly not true. So we have a problem with the 10, and something needs to be done to unlock that if we are going to be able to achieve anything in what is left of the season. I truly believe that that 10 role is so important for us, because everything else pretty much ticks over. Nobody played well yesterday, but other than that, all the other systems tick over. It's that 10 that unlocks everything going forward, and it's not happening. And I think that, we need to look at playing around with that formation. And one of the things I spoke about was having Rice in the 6 and having Eze and then Saka. That's what Arsenal fans wanted to see, and I feel like we were deprived of that yesterday. And I think that needs to be better. There is one thing I do think we need to talk about, though, for Saka. He has lost half a yard, and that's not his fault. He had that awful tear of his hamstring last season, muscle away from bone. But you could see there was a run in the last 10 minutes, I think, of the game where he was through in on the middle, and you could see that star boy was not as fast as he used to be. And that's going to be a problem, because you don't know if he's ever going to get that pace back. And if he doesn't get that pace back, Arsenal need to find a better way to use him, because that run is a traditional Martinelli run. And if Martinelli's there, he's clear on goal. Martinelli had an awful game yesterday, but that's besides the point. That is the Martinelli run. Saka should not have been there. So that's something else that we need to talk about. I just think that Saka can work there, but we have a problem with the 10, and the problem with the 10 was part of the reason that we didn't win the game yesterday. Let's move on to Raya. That Raya flap has been coming. In the last 3 or 4 games, he has not looked comfortable with balls coming into the box. You can debate about whose fault it was. You'd like to think that Raya is making the call there to catch the ball, and you've got 2 senior players trying to deal with a problem, which can happen. However, it shouldn't be happening against bottom of the league in a nothing cross, really. And that's what it was. It was a nothing cross. It was a hit and hope. And 2 of the best players in the league in that position did not communicate well enough. Raya flapped it, and we concede. We've had warnings for that. We had that warning where Havertz made the clearance. I forget which team it was against, but we had Havertz making that last-ditch clearance, and or block. It was probably going wide, but he was still there. Calafiori was unlucky. I don't know why the cameras kept going back to Calafiori. What else could he have done? But that's been coming, and that's been something that Arsenal haven't looked at, or haven't worked enough at, or have pushed to the side where they've been working on other things. And the reality is that is a punishment well overdue. So that's something else that we need to look at. And the reality is that the squad needs freshening up. The squad needs a freshen up. If Arsenal are going to go on this run now towards the end of February to May, this squad cannot keep going out the way it is going out. That squad, the way it is, will win games. All right, I have no doubt about that. But at the moment, I don't know whether it's over-tried and over-tested, but it needs a freshen up. And that includes personnel as well. Right? Timber was on the pitch 70 minutes longer than he should have been, because it's clear that he picked up a knock earlier on. Martinelli should have come off way earlier. And even Zubimendi, I think, could do with a little bit of challenge. And if I'm Ben White, if I'm Trossard, and I know Trossard has been starting, but he's been our best left winger this year, so he should have started. If I'm Ben White, if I'm Trossard, if I'm Norgard, I am knocking on Arteta's door right now and saying, what the hell, boss? Because I make a difference in that game. And I genuinely believe that. I genuinely believe Norgard makes a difference. I genuinely believe Ben White, although not better defensively than Timber, he is better offensively, and he would have been really good going forward in that Wolves game. And Trossard is the best left winger we have at the club. So the team needs to freshen up, because they need to be playing. And I would even be looking at like I've said, putting someone in the six, Norgard or Rice, and having Eze and Saka in those attacking roles. The defense is good enough to withhold attacks. We've conceded 19 goals this season on an XG of something like 2, right? Which is ridiculous. So we are defensively good enough to deal with this. We need to be playing more expansive and more believing football if we're going to win this league. I believe that. All right, we are being counterintuitive and counterproductive at the moment, and there needs to be an element of we're going to go for it because otherwise we're going to lose it, and that would be an absolute tragedy. And I'm not saying that because I think we've lost it. I'm not saying it because I think we've blown it. I still think we can win the league. I still think that we can beat Tottenham at the weekend, and I still think that Man City will draw. I don't think Man City are going to win, 12 games in a row. I just don't believe it. So I still think that Arsenal can win this league, but there needs to be something. It just can't be the same thing that goes out again and again and again. There needs to be something that freshens up the squad. And even with the names that I've mentioned there, I think the squad becomes a little bit more expansive and a little bit more exciting. And that's exactly what the squad needs. And it's exactly what the fans deserve as well, I think. We are still in all 4 competitions, and that's an amazing achievement. And I don't want to just dig out the team for the sake of digging out the team, but I do think that these are reasonable questions to be raising. I also think, as much as I believe that we can still win the league, I do not believe we are favourites anymore. And that might play into Arsenal's hand. All right. We're 2 points clear. You have to think that Man City are likely to beat Palace. So we are 2 points clear. It is still in our hands, but we still have to go to the Etihad. So I do think that probably makes Man City favourites, and I think that could play into our hand, but it could also, completely overwhelm us as well. And that is worrying. But you have to believe. And at the moment, I believe. However, it's Spurs or bust. This is a huge game for Spurs. They can't afford to lose because they're going to be dragged right into that relegation battle. But it's massive for us because if we lose that game, I think that could be it. And I don't want to be like dramatic, but I do think that could be irrevocable damage. So when Arsenal lose, it really impacts me. Like, it really frustrates me, especially in the manner that we lose. I don't mind if we get spanked and we've just been outplayed. We didn't even really turn up. We didn't really come out of second gear. And I think that is inexcusable for a team that's going for the title against a team that is going to be relegated, and a team that's competing with Derby for points. Like, it's just unacceptable football. With that being said, if you're like me and football losses affects the way you feel afterwards, just stay away from your phone today. Watch this, give it a like, and just come off the phone because there's a whole lot out there today, and it's not worth it. Just look ahead to Spurs, be positive, because we can get a result at Spurs and we can reignite something for the remainder of the season. As always, I'm trying to get to 50 subscribers, so please like and please subscribe because I want to be able to stream live. Thank you for watching as always, and fingers crossed, up the Gunners.